Good evening, everyone, and welcome along to some TGP2 action once again. It's a Wednesday night, and we have headed off to the Americas. First of all, starting off in Mexico City for the Mexican Grand Prix, and later on in the evening, once we finish up here, we'll head north to Canada for the fantastic Canadian Grand Prix around the wonderful streets of Montreal. Once again, as always, it's Ginger Andy in the commentary box, joined by my good friend with Welsh tones tonight, Dan the man, because he's just picked Wales in the TGP FIFA tournament. So much for being a patriotic Englishman. Dan, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, in my defence, England have been taken and Wales was the next best available team in
Scotland.
my opinion. So, well,
Scotland.
you know, I thought I'd leave that one for one of the Scots, but yeah, we'll see how that goes, how that gets on. But you know, probably haven't got much chance of winning it anyway. But anyway, I think we've got a very good championship battle going on here with 3 drivers in with a chance of winning it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We'll swap football for what we're actually here for, and that is, of course, Formula One, as you say. And we have a really, really tight championship. And Chris Johnson leading the way on 173 points at the minute. He's 10 points clear of Magic Buchanan, who sits second in the order on 163. F1 Bazza on 130 in third. Then a 40-point gap back to Cena on 90. Alex Zafro on 87. Blair Grylls 6th in the standings on 85. Sierra Sports is 7th with Parsa 8th. Mr. John 9th and Dom Smith rounding out the top 10 as we head into the 11th round here at Mexico City with 10 minutes to go in this session. What's your thoughts been then so far on this season, Dan, and how it's looking? It's looking now like a 2-horse race, isn't it? Chris Johnson versus Magic Buchanan. Bazza just about keeping himself in touch, but he really needs to start winning races in the second half of the season if he wants to maintain touch.
He does indeed, yeah. Last week, or going into the races last week, it certainly looked as though Chris Johnson was beginning to pull out a bit of a gap, but he did not have a great week in Brazil and the Prix before Brazil, which I can't remember, and that's just totally escaped my mind. But struggled around both tracks, and in fact he got a penalty in Brazil. Which dropped him from 2nd to 5th, and it was Spain the first race where he spun early on and had to fight his way through from the back. So it allowed Magic Buchanan, who won both races, to catch up to Chris, and Bazza is sort of, he's there, but yeah, I think tonight he needs to win both races really if he wants to be in with a shout.
Well, at the very least, he needs to close the gap because he kind of finds himself in no man's land at the minute, doesn't he? He's 33 points behind Magic Buchanan in second and 40 ahead of the man in fourth. So whether he likes it or not, I don't know if he's a Kimi Räikkönen kind of guy. He's going to prize giving whether he likes it or not. And well, you know, we'll have to wait and see if he can improve on that third place. But it's going to be a tall order, no doubt about that. And things need to start turning in his favour pretty quickly. So 8.5 minutes to go. I've been watching Parsa for the last few minutes. We'll let him complete this lap then, and we'll see how he gets on. He's 3.9 seconds up on his best so far, and I'd like to think so, given his quickest lap time so far is a 1 minute 20.2. All the quickest lap times so far have been on the soft compound tyre as we watch Parsa round that final corner and head for the line now. You'd expect somewhere at the very least in the midfield as he comes to the line. What's it going to be? It's going to be a 1:59, and he goes 4th quickest, Dan.
He has indeed, and we got Bazza out the session. One of the championship contenders has crashed on the run to turn 4. I'm not really sure how he's managed that. I didn't see it, but look like he's only in 10th place right now. And well, that's an absolute disaster for Bazza. How did that happen? What a strange place to crash. Well,
I'm going on board now with Chris Johnson to see if we can come across Bazza's stricken car in this section of the track then. And that's incredible.
Oh, sorry, yeah, that's not turn 4. It's to the final sector, isn't it? Just on the entry of the final sector for the stadium. So, yeah, that's a really strange one.
Now, looking at the car and looking at where it's positioned, that looks to me like he's ran into someone who's been returning to the pits, or there's been a miscommunication with other cars. That's certainly what it looks like as we watch Chris Johnson come round the final corner and complete his latest effort, and it's enough to go quickest, a 1 minute 15.598, a 10th and a half ahead of his championship rival Magic Buchanan, who, as we just cut to him, is coming out of the pits now to start an out lap, and he'll come out now knowing that he's behind his main rival. So Dom Smith out there, he's 3rd quickest at the minute. Let's ride on board with that Alpha Tauri driver. In fact, well, not, he's way off, he's not on a good lap at the minute. Jacko is out there, running 4th at the minute. And let's see what he can do today, Dan. Before we talk about the drivers, let's talk about the racetrack. That's an invalidation if I've ever seen one. in fact, Alex Zaffro, we're going to go on board with him for a flying lap right now. He's just started it. Let's talk about this track. What's your overriding feeling about it?
I really enjoy this track. Look, Mick Schumacher just got into second place. Yeah, I really like this track. It's quite difficult to drive, but I enjoy it. I enjoy watching the cars go around it, and it has three very distinct sectors as well, doesn't it? Pretty much just a long straight, the first sector, the sort of kind of like a slalom around the middle sector, and then the incredibly tight final sector around the stadium. But yeah, I love it as we see Alex going around his turn 7, turn 8 here, a bit wide through there, but it's all good. And then now this is the fast flowing section, best bit of the track for me personally. And if you manage to get it just right, you can kind of go flat out around this exact bit here. You do have to be spot on, and it's very easy to get an invalidation, as you saw Jacko earlier. Alex Zaffro now approaching the stadium section, and he's up on his time.
Yeah, he's up on his time, and that's a bit wide. He'll get away without an invalidation there. So let's see where Alex Zaffro can go as he now negotiates this extremely tight section. Oh, what game are you on, Alex? Is that dirt you're playing? Because it looks like a rally car the way you're wrestling that car as he rounds the final corner, and that is P7, a 1:16.0. The tyres perhaps getting away from him. And if they weren't getting away from him, I can tell you the lap time was, because it was slowly dropping away there. He was really sliding the rear end of the car to try and correct it. But yeah, interesting your thoughts on the racetrack, Dan. That middle sector for me, I've never really liked it. It's never been an area of the track I've been good at. I've struggled with it all the time, and yeah, I suppose if you can nail it and get it right, it can be really, really rewarding. But as you say about the invalidations, Dan, that's going to be key in the race round there, because it's so easy to cut corners and pick up time penalties. But before we discuss that, we should discuss Magic Poop Cannon. A 1:15.7 is quickest so far. He's going quicker on this latest attempt. That should be enough to move him ahead of Chris Johnson, perhaps a little bit further. That's a really good benchmark from Parser so far. But what can Poop Cannon do as he rounds the final corner in that Alfa Romeo and heads for the line? Is it quickest? No, it's third quickest. A 1:15.2, 3 tenths shy of the top time from Parser.
Well, Magic Poop Cannon is looking to try and make it 3 poles in a row. Took both poles last week, and don't forget Chris Johnson. We're halfway through the season now almost, and Chris Johnson, the championship leader, still hasn't had a pole position this season, which is quite incredible, really. Parser usually likes to use his teammate Cena for a bit of a tow, which would have come in very handy down this very long straight, top finish straight, but can't do that tonight because he's not here. But still, he's put it on pole for the time being. But if Magic Poop Cannon can just at least qualify ahead of Chris Johnson, I think he'll be satisfied, and he's still got one more run to come. But I think he lost a bit of time in the final sector. I think Parser's final sector must have been really something special.
As Joe Sayer then moves up into 5th place on a 1:15.9. There's a little bit of a gap actually between the top 4 and the rest. Saying that, Chris Johnson's a good 3 tenths off the back of Magic Poop Cannon at the minute, but you know, a real 4/10 gap back to a real gaggle of cars within around a tenth of a second. You've got Sayer Sports on a 15.9. Dom Smith, his good friend, only 100th back. Jacko 3,000s further back from that, and then Alex Zaffro on a 16 flat. So quite a group of cars lining up to be best of the rest in P5, because I think a 15.5 might just be out of reach, or a top 4 spot might be out of reach for some of them. But Mick Schumacher, that's an incredible effort. That's got to be the star of qualifying so far, the surprise of qualifying so far.
Oh, definitely, that would be an incredible position if you managed. I think he had a good quali in Japan, didn't he? But I don't think it was a front row. But so, still on the final sectors, and you've got Parser and Mick Schumacher, or Marco, as I probably should call him, 2 tenths quicker than everybody else in that final sector. So perhaps they're running a little bit more downforce, you would imagine, and it's helping them at the very end of the lap. And Parser, the only guy in the 1:14s, as Marco comes out for his final run.
Tom Smith there getting a little tow from Alex Zaffro down the start-finish straight, because Zaffro was coming out of the pits. I thought his work colleague might have given him a bigger tow, but it wasn't to be. What are you seeing, Dan?
So I just saw Jacko just done the exact same thing that we saw him do before around the fast slalom left-right bits, and invalidated once again. And Dom invalidates at the start of it as well.
Yeah, disaster there.
That is where the laps are going, aren't they?
Yeah, that's where they're all going, as Jacko's also, as you say, managed to cut a corner, and it's ruined his run. Let's see who else we can find out there. Red Bull Kim, let's see what he's up to. Now donning the colours of Ferrari, Dan. The prancing horse, he's gave up Haas for the prancing horse of Ferrari. I was watching on the telly the other week there, and I saw delirious scenes over in Maranello when Red Bull Kim was unveiled to the Italian public, a really popular fella, and the Danish flags were flying along with the Italian flags over in Italy at the scene of the Ferrari factory. And, let's see what he can do for Ferrari this season.
Yeah, I think there was a bit of confusion initially, wasn't there? Because they were like, why have we signed a guy with Red Bull in the name? But they will grow to love him, and, obviously already love him. And he's a very popular character, and we'll see what he can do around here. Oh, he's just invalidated the lap at the very end.
Unlucky, Kim. Keep it up, mate. Keep it up. You'll find the time. You'll get a good lap in at some point. Mick Schumacher out there stays on a 15-1. No improvement. Is he going again? I think he is going again. Let's see what his first sector's like. Oh, he's a few hundredths up, and that could be threatening Parsa if he can continue to put a lap time together. The rear end sliding there for Mick Schumacher. And I've got to say, Dan, it's a scene we've seen quite a lot in this session. Driver struggling for traction with the rear end of the car through the slow speed corners.
It is indeed, yes, and Parsa hasn't come back out, so Parsa is not doing another lap, so we'll see what Mick Schumacher's second sector time would be like. As I say, lost a bit of time there, DRS will be deployed, Roger Poupcannon just starting his lap now, so is Chris Johnson. Alex Zafra goes 5th, and he's 6/10 off Marco, so I don't think he's going to improve, and this is probably going to come down to Roger Poupcannon and Chris Johnson.
He will get time to go again if he's got fuel for it, though, if he gets round that final corner, so Marco could still be one to watch if he's got life and in his tyres and fuel to do so. Magic Poupcannon has been through that first sector. I actually missed what the timing was, but here he comes then.
Just 600ths up.
600ths up, so he's finding time then. It might just be enough to beat Mick Schumacher. He's going to have to go some through the middle and final sectors to stick this car on pole. Magic Poupcannon then 10 points behind in the championship, on a roll in the championship at the minute, winning races. He's nearly a 10th up on his previous best. It's still not going to be enough to improve his position. It needs to be an almighty final sector for Magic Poupcannon. Round the final couple of corners he comes, the Mexican fans waving him on in the grass. That's very wide, that's way too wide, too much speed, and the chance is gone. Mick Schumacher going again, he's 500ths down. What's Chris Johnson doing? He's absolutely flying, 3/10 up on his previous best for the second sector. It's going to be a tall order once again to dislodge Parsa, but it should be a real threat to Poupcannon as Jacko goes in between Poupcannon and Chris Johnson. Here comes Chris for the line. That's surely an improvement. It's pole position. What a final sector from Chris Johnson to stick it on pole. Marco's abandoned his lap. He will not improve, and I think that's it for the top runners. Penguin in the pits, he's abandoned his lap, and that is the end of the session. Chris Johnson leaves it very late to get his first pole of the season, Dan.
That's got to be some blow, that, for Magic Poupcannon, isn't it? He was on a quicker lap and then he made that error at the final corner. He still improved his time. He still actually went a 10th quicker, but so I think that shows, he could have gone way quicker if he didn't hit the wall at the very end of the lap. Mick Schumacher actually hit the wall at the start of the stadium section, the right-hander. He lost the car, went straight into the wall as he was about to improve as well. So a lot of errors towards the end of that session, and Chris Johnson takes his first pole of the season, just ahead of Parsa.
Yeah, well done to Chris Johnson. First pole of the season, a bounce back he desperately needed after Magic Poupcannon strung together, was it 2 victories last week, Dan? I mean, very impressive stuff. And Chris didn't have the week he needed to bring the championship, closing it back up again. But Chris Johnson takes the acclaim of the fans in the baseball stadium section as he rounds the final corner, and he is on pole position for the Mexican Grand Prix, round 11 of the championship, leaving it very, very late, and nips ahead of Parsa onto top spot. Then let's take a look at the final qualifying results. Chris Johnson on pole, 1 minute 14.891. He's just 3/4 of a 10th quicker than Parsa in second. Mick Schumacher, very strong effort in third, with Poupcannon only 4th. Jacko gets up to 5th towards the end of the session with Alex Zafro 6th. Sear Sports is in between the Reynolds in 7th with Sir Tom Penguin in 8th. Dom Smith lines up 9th and Blow and Wheelnut is 10th. Outside the top 10 is Blair Grills, Baza, Mr. John, Angel vs Death, Red Bull Kim, M. Shep, and Indecisive and Kaya with no times. So there you go, that is the final results of qualifying, but we have a very interesting race. And Dan, I'll look at the weather forecast this morning before I got out my bed and headed along to the paddock, brought the brolly, and the sombrero was left parked on the bed at the bedside table, and I think we might have a chance of rain at some point in this race. I suppose we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, it's towards the end of the race. We've been told they could possibly right towards the end, be a bit of rain. So we could have a bit of a Belgium 2008 situation here at the end of this one. But we'll have to wait and see. Of course, it looks very sunny right now, and skies look, there's not a cloud in the sky actually, but the weather forecast, we believe, does say rain towards the end.
Yeah, well, myself and Dan, we had our sombreros on in the commentary box yesterday for qualifying, and I'll be honest, I mean, it's a tight box as it is, and with a sombrero that size, they were rubbing against each other. So I'm quite glad that we've got a little bit of rain, and we don't need them in the commentary box today. It should be a cracking race. They're all going to be lining up in the grid in a few moments' time for the start of the race. Here come the 5 red lights, and when they go out, we'll be racing. We are racing in TGP2. It's Chris Johnson leading away from pole. It's a very, very long run down to turn 1 though. Will he hold his lead? A big slipstream coming from Mick Schumacher. A big challenge on the inside from Parsa. We're going to be 3 wide down towards that first corner. Who will break the latest? It looks like Parsa. Mick Schumacher in there too, but it's Parsa who gets into the lead, and the championship leader drops down a place at the start. Mick Schumacher very, very close there with Chris Johnson, who had to take evasive action but still maintains second place as they head down that second long straight. It's still Parsa, then Chris Johnson, and then look at Mick Schumacher. Down the inside he goes, and it's brilliant stuff from Mick Schumacher to take second place. Marco, the German driver, flying at the start.
Phenomenal stuff. Bit of an instance at the back for Bazza, which isn't good for him. I think he collides with one of the racing points, but Parser has totally gone after that. After that move by Mick Schumacher to allow Parser to pull away. Chris Johnson in third. Then Magic Poop Cannon got overtaken by Jacko. He's now in fifth.
Not the ideal start at all for Magic Poop Cannon, who had been looking to put some kind of championship challenge and continuing it on here. It's not the ideal start. He's down in fifth place. But if there's any crumb of comfort, as we see, who was that? Dom Smith and Sayre Sports side by side into the baseball section. Not often a place you see overtaking. Sayre Sports holding it around the outside. Contact between them. Sayre Sports slides, just about keeps it out the wall, but loses out to Angel versus Death, who moves up into 8th position. All action on this opening lap, and now behind that we've got Sir Tom Penguin doing battle with Blair Grills down the start-finish straight.
And I think Chris Johnson, well, I thought Chris Johnson was going to have a go back on Mick Schumacher. It looked like he had a run, but he's lost a bit of time in the end, and it's Magic Poop Cannon and Jacko going side by side instead. Magic Poop Cannon getting back ahead of Jacko for 4th place.
Well, that's going on. It's all kinds of action in the midfield as Sir Tom Penguin sticks one up the inside of Blair Grills and gets it done, gets back through there. Looked like he'd lost the place, gets back ahead of Blair Grills and into the points paying positions. But a really interesting start to this Grand Prix, plenty of drama and relatively clean as well, which is always nice to see. As you said though, there was an incident in the back involving Baza. Where is he now? He's 14th and on the hard compound tyre.
He is indeed, yes, and just one driver pitting at the end of that first lap in the form of Shepherd. I noticed that Cena joined the lobby, didn't he, just as the race started, so heartbreak for him. He could have possibly just made the race, but instead he'll have to watch, and he'll be back for Canada. His teammate Parser is still in the lead and has a fairly comfortable lead at the moment as Tom Penguin, and Joe Sayre loses a few more positions there, I think.
Yeah, I don't know what's happened there. I've just jumped across to it. It looks like Sayre might have been out of shape through the SE section. He's down to 11th now, and Sir Tom Penguin picks off another car, as does Blair Grills. They move further up into the points paying position, but we need to go to Alex Zaffro, the other Renault, who looks like he's setting about a move on Jacko as they go side by side down the start finish straight. We watched them from that beautiful camera shot, and through goes Alex Zaffro back up into 5th place. Jacko trying to get back in the tow, but he can't quite do it. Now, it doesn't really affect it on the game, Dan. I don't think it's that realistic, but certainly in real life it's a track you'd expect to see a lot of overtaking on. Because we're so high up here, the thin air makes it so difficult to get a slipstream, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the altitude should help, but as you say, I don't think quite Codemasters have enabled that sort of realism, sadly. But yeah, certainly in the real world, it would have that effect. Just notice that obviously Chris Johnson won't know this, but Mick Schumacher has such little ERS left compared to what Chris has right now, and Chris would easily make the move, I would say, on the next lap with a bit of DRS and ERS as well.
Well, they'll certainly be hoping to, because he's now got Magic Poop Cannon getting into a rhythm here and gaining on this group, and when Poop Cannon went down to 5th, Chris would have been hoping to capitalise on that and lead the race from the front, but that is not happening at all, and he's stuck behind Mick Schumacher at the minute. But you would think, as you said, with that advantage on ERS, it should be possible for Chris to make that move. Poop Cannon's still a second back. He's not going to be getting DRS, or it might be very close. Let's see if he got it. No, he did not. So Chris Johnson should now be able to breeze alongside Mick Schumacher and make that move. Sticky opened the DRS quite late there, did Chris. Pulls alongside, easy as you like, and he's up into 2nd place.
crucial move for Chris. He had to get that done, didn't he? Because say Magic Buchanan was gaining, and I think Chris is having a bit of problems with his connection as well, which might be causing a few heart attacks at Mercedes. Just in case that connection goes, that would be a terrible, terrible moment for the championship for Chris if that were to happen. Let's see how quickly then Magic Buchanan can close in on Mick Schumacher.
Yep, he'll be hoping to do that very quickly indeed, as Angel versus Death is doing battle. Oh, we got 3 spinners. We got 3 cars off down at the chicane. Blair Grills and Tom Penguin both spinning. Tom Penguin on his own, and then with Angel versus Death going into the side of Blair Grills, spinning him round. Chaos down there. And in the end, I think there might be some damage on Angel versus Death's front wing after that collision. There sure is. He's really struggling, and he's going to drop right down through the order as a result. But Angel versus Death into the side of Blair Grills, and Tom Penguin spinning on his own just in front of that, Dan. Mayhem.
That was a strange one, wasn't it? And I noticed Bazza has made a few positions up because of that. Now Bazza's up into 10th place. He's side by side with Angel versus Death, in fact. Angel versus Death runs wide as they enter the stadium, and Bazza is into 10th, and Mr. John gets through as well. So Magic Buchanan is now within a second of Marco, and Marco does not have DRS. Can Magic Buchanan close in to have a go at him? I don't think he will.
Not close enough, because Mick Schumacher still getting DRS from Chris Johnson in front. Dan, you're a racer. How early or how soon? Oh, big slide for Buchanan there, as Jackal picks up a 3-second time penalty. When can we expect a pit stop from the runners on the soft? How aggressive can you go? How early can you go if you're Magic Buchanan?
I'd be tempted to pit probably this or next lap, I would say, if I can't get past Mick Schumacher and try and have a go at the undercut. I think that would probably be the best decision for him to do at the moment. Just seeing if Baz is going to have a go at Mr. John here, because Mr. John managed to get past Bazza to get into 10th place. Bazza down to 11th now, but if Magic Buchanan is just going to keep getting held up, it might be worth them just deciding to come into the pit lane and hopefully for him, managing to perhaps get some fresh air, clean air, and see what he can do.
Yeah, let's see what he does then on this lap then. Will Chris Johnson expect that and maybe pit himself? Let's wait and see. Lap 5 out of 18, about to be lap 6. And we will be at 1/3 race distance. Across the line go the front 3. Anything from Magic Buchanan? No. Carries on for another lap. And was that a potential opportunity missed, Dan? We'll have to wait and see. But here comes Buchanan now, using up that overtake button. The letterbox is wide open, and he's going to go breezing past Mick Schumacher in the run down to turn 1. Great pacing qualifying from Mick Schumacher. Can't quite match it in the race, and Buchanan breezes past with the help of the ZRS and DRS, and through he goes. But that's another slide from him there. It's something he's done on a number of occasions, and now
he had a poor run.
Go on.
Yeah, Magic Buchanan had a poor run, didn't he, through those first 3 corners after he made the move, and it allowed Schumacher to close back up a bit. But tell you what, despite the poor run, Chris Johnson suddenly looks a bit vulnerable now as well. The gap is a second. So Chris Johnson's lost a bit of time, and suddenly it's really tightened up between these two.
It sure has. It's almost as if Chris Johnson doesn't quite have the race pace underneath him, despite that good effort in qualifying. It's Magic Buchanan again. A little bit out of shape, offline there through the S's, and now he's got Mick Schumacher breathing right down his neck. And it's going to be interesting to see if any of these drivers choose to pit on this occasion. Let's wait and see as they come round the final couple of corners for the 6th time out of 18. Will we get a pit stop from anybody? Yes, Magic Buchanan. And he comes then, undercut attempt, and that was very, very cautious on pit entry, wasn't it, Dan?
It was very late as well. It was a very late dive into the pit lane, so maybe he was going a bit too quick. Had to suddenly slam on. Jacko also comes into the pit lane then. Just wondering if we've got Bazin and Mr. John going side by side again there at it. Brilliant stuff from those two. And I just wonder maybe if Bazin decides to start on the hards because of the possibility of rain towards the end of this race.
That's a very, very good point. That's a massively important point. I mean, incredibly, 7 laps out of 18, all this talk of rain we spoke about before the start. It's like a beautiful day here in Mexico City. I was going to say Scottish summer there, but it's not like the Scottish summer. It will be on lap 18 though. Yeah, Baza trying something here, and you know this could work out handsomely for Baza. It could pay off brilliantly for him. It's a really wise move if it starts to tip down towards the end of this Grand Prix. Is it possible to do that on mediums, Dan, do you think? Or do you think your tyres would be in bits?
I think your tyres will perhaps be struggling a little bit, but with the 18 laps perhaps, yeah, so probably might be best to go for hards if you want to go down that road. Let's see if Chris Johnson comes into the pit lane. No, he doesn't. Neither does Parter. So just going to try and monitor and see what the sector times are going to be like for Magic Poop Cannon on this outlap.
Yeah, and what tyre did he go on? Surely it would have been... No, he went on mediums. Okay,
yeah.
Well, I suppose the thing is, if you go on the medium tyre, you don't lock yourself into a position where you need to two-stop if the rain isn't getting heavy enough. I suppose that's maybe what he's thinking, but if you want to be really aggressive, if you're Parsa and you might not win many races this year, if you're Mick Schumacher, do you go soft?
Soft tyres? What? Oh, because in case it rains?
Yeah.
Well, I suppose that might be a good idea, mightn't it? But I suppose, is it possibly too much of a risk just in case it doesn't rain, and then obviously you have to make another stop, don't you? So as Blown Wheel Nut now comes into the pit lane, but Magic Poop Cannon is beginning to get a bit of traffic now. He's coming up to, say, Tom Penguin ahead. Chris Johnson is actually closing. He's closing, gained a second on Parsa, in fact. Yeah,
he's starting to reel him in, isn't he? As Mr. John and Baza once again are in quite close proximity out there on the racetrack. But we need to keep an eye on Magic Poop Cannon here. He's in a bit of traffic. He's stuck behind Sir Tom Penguin. What's going on now?
Sorry, I was just looking at the sector times there. We have Magic Poop Cannon half a second quicker than Chris Johnson in the first sector. And, well, if there was an AWS traffic at the moment, I think it would be saying that the chance of an overtake for Magic Poop Cannon is significantly increased on Chris Johnson. But Chris Johnson stays out again.
Yeah, well, I think his saving grace here might be that Magic Poop Cannon, and while I understand he's taken half a second out of him in the first sector, he isn't doing that in the second and third sector because he's stuck behind a waddling penguin. And he's not going to be stuck behind it anymore. He's going to get DRS from it because into the pits comes Sir Tom Penguin. And Magic Poop Cannon is finally released. Where is he going to be in relation to Mick Schumacher? Comfortably ahead is the answer.
Well, it was a 120.0 for Chris Johnson on that lap, 119.3 for Magic Poop Cannon, even with that traffic. So you have to say at the moment, this is looking like Magic Poop Cannon might be able to jump Chris Johnson. Of course, Chris Johnson will have the much fresher tyres, of course. Yeah,
you've got to question the strategy, though, especially when there's a good chance of rain at some point in this race. Very strange one. As Red Bull Kim runs along in 12th place. It looked quite close there to Blown Wheel Nut, but no such things as Jacko is about to line him up for an overtake on lap 9 out of 18 with a half race distance here. Is there going to be any move here from Jacko? Don't think he's going to be close enough. This is the closest battle on the track at the minute. Red Bull Kim in the Scarlet Ferrari getting a little bit squirrely, and here comes Jacko, and Jacko is through in the racing point, and that will not please the Ferrari fans. There'll be pasta being flung around the house.
We've got passing Chris Johnson in the pit lane then. Magic Poop Cannon was 0.3 quicker at the second sector than Chris Johnson, so I think it's going to be really close, you know.
Let's see then, and they're on pit exit. Where is Magic Poop Cannon? He's coming round the final corner now. This is the race here and now then. Here we go, on board with Poop Cannon. There they are coming out of the pits. Parsa's well clear. That's Chris Johnson getting up to speed. And incredibly, despite leaving it that much later, he's not in front, Magic Poop Cannon. And that is somewhat a bit of a surprise. And I tell you what, Chris Johnson might be buying a few packets of penguins this week, because if it wasn't for Sir Tom Penguin, he would have been behind, you would have thought.
Yeah, I mean, considering the lap that's he still set Magic Poop Cannon on that lap, you have to imagine he would have absolutely smashed the fastest lap if, say, Tom Penguin was not there, and would have probably jumped Chris Johnson. But tell you what, Chris Johnson's got to try and get past Mr. Johnny here.
Yeah, it's all happening. So Chris Johnson will be going to Asda to buy a packet of penguins for his cup of tea in appreciation, because it's held him the lead and with 2 lap fresher tyres, but it's not as comfortable as what it once was. I say the lead, it's not the lead, it's the lead over his championship rival. The lead is actually Parsa's.
It is. It is indeed. We could be about to finally see a Red Bull win a race, one of Parsa and Cena. They've threatened it so many times so far this season, and well, now Parsa has a clean road ahead of him for the next 7 laps if he can stay there. Let's see now what goes on between Chris Johnson and Mr. John.
This should be a breeze by, and it sure is, easy as that. And you know what, Magic Poop Cannon might even fancy it as well. Look at the overspeed. He's breezing past one. He might even challenge Chris into the braking zone here. Wow, very, very close there. And Chris Johnson might have had to have braked 10 metres later than he perhaps thought he would have when he started that straight. But there you go, he's ahead. And Magic Poop Cannon's got such a squirrely rear coming out of that corner, doesn't he?
Yeah, it happens every time, doesn't it, at the exit of that corner. But I wonder what Baz is thinking right now. He's got his teammate behind him, but because he's fighting for the championship, what's he going to do here? He's going to try and play any games. There's not really many games he can play, I suppose, really, is there?
Well, there is games. Right now, if it rains, he's in front of Chris Johnson on the road.
That is true.
So, there's no point playing the Bottas Baza. It's time to play the Rosberg. As he goes very wide.
Yeah, he was playing the track designer there, going way off the circuit. Is Chris Johnson going to go for it? No, he's not.
He's not. Any calls from Team Mercedes to move will be going on deaf ears, I think. So let's see then what happens as they come round the final couple of corners. And Chris is a little bit wider. No, it's just the incredible amount of lag. And is that Baza pitting?
Yeah,
it is Baza pitting. So maybe he doesn't think it's going to rain in time.
Yeah, maybe he does not think the rain's going to materialise then, which is a shame, you have to say, if you're neutral in terms of the race, to have seen how that would have panned out. But he decides to come in and pit at this stage. Magic Poop Cannon cannot close into Chris Johnson on this lap, because Chris Johnson did have the DRS, didn't he, from Baza?
Yeah, so Magic Poop Cannon, we're watching from the rear wing of Chris Johnson. That is Magic Poop Cannon you're staring at, that white and red blob that's in his mirrors, and it's in our field of view right now. As we are on board with the Mercedes car, Parsa, as you said, Dan, looking like finally delivering a win for Red Bull that they've threatened so often. And Cena is sitting up there with his feet up and the popcorn out, getting to watch it, because he just about missed the start of the race. As,
look at Jacko and Indecisive and Baza, but Indecisive and Baza just come out the pit lane, trying to get past Jacko. Baza's just got a penalty there, in fact. But Jacko coming under real threat from these guys now, who are both on the softs. Yeah,
they're both on the softs, and they're both on much grippier, faster tyres. And Jacko is going to be looking in his mirrors all the way through the SE section, and that's not something you want to be doing. Is Indecisive gets ever more closer to making a move through that SE section. We've got Baza literally climbing all over the back of them, trying to find a way through. He's all over the road, Baza, but he stays in 10th position at the minute. And Jacko goes a little bit wide again, and Indecisive's going to be all over him. Pick a path, Baza, because I couldn't pick one through that. It's impossible. One line and one line only on that area of the track, and there's no way through. Down the straight they will go.
He's doing well to defend, I have to say. And look, he's got 90% DRS.
Here comes Baza. Look at this. Look at Baza. He's flying alongside, coming out from behind the pair of them. Double toe for Baza, and it's going to be a double overtake for Baza. Moving up into 8th place. Left Indecisive, and Jacko standing still. That's very late from Indecisive. Out of control, in fact. He cuts the corner and gets a penalty for his troubles, but does regain 8th place, and we'll have to give that back immediately. He'll need to watch for Jacko, and he will watch, and he'll keep an eye on that gap, and he'll be okay.
Yeah, I mean, he literally, Indecisive, in fact, Jacko's going for it, look, and had to back out of it. Indecisive literally cut the grass there. I mean, he just literally cut the grass to get ahead of Baza there. I think he couldn't stop the car, really. He had the panic moment, didn't he, and had to take evasive action and then give the place back to Baza.
Yep, and it's all sorted itself out. Baza flying out of that final corner and breezing past, showing the power of that Mercedes engine. And has to be said, let's see what else we got out on track. Still 7/10, so not really changing between second and third, the two championship rivals at the minute.
I think it's more than 7/10. I think there's a bit of a glitch going on with Chris Johnson's responder with the lag. He's definitely pulling away from Magic Poop Cannon at this stage, and I think really only his internet can beat him at this stage.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it pans out. It's looking like the gap's going to go back up to 13 points as Alex Safro sets about a move on Dom Smith into turn one. He can't quite get the Renault alongside, and he retains his position at the minute.
Yeah, and he's gone wide. He's gone wide, Dom, and Alex Safro might get through here, and he does. Will Dom try and come back at him into turn 4 if he's late on the brakes? No, he doesn't.
Dom Smith then makes the error. Alex Safro, his work colleague, pounces and takes 5th place away. It might have appeared it was 4th for a moment there, folks, but Chris Johnson decided to disappear to the bottom of the timing screens, but not to worry, he's back up in 2nd place. So lap 14 out of 18 is Alex.
It's on Penguin, and Mr. Sean goes side by side here around 10-4-10-5. If this is going to continue,
big contact there, and that is going to be a new paint job on that Racing Point, and he's not letting him back on the track. Mr. John, goodness me, that's not the kind of driving I usually associate with him. Really argy-pargy, aggressive stuff from Mr. John. And he just simply wasn't letting Sir Tom Penguin get anywhere near the racetrack again.
And I think Alex Safro and Dom here, I think Dom's going to have another chance here on Alex Safro. It's starting to get a little bit dark, isn't it? But I think if it is going to rain, it's probably going to arrive a bit too late. Let's see if Dom can make this move before it's too late down the straight. the DRS.
Yeah, here he comes then, Dom Smith. Oh, Alex Zaffro defending as hard as he can to the inside. Will it be enough for Dom Smith to swoop round the outside? He'll try his very, very best. Right round the outside goes Dom Smith. Zaffro does his best to keep the high ground and does it. Absolutely brilliant stuff between them. It ain't over yet though. Another long straight to come. He picks up the toe. Goes to the outside, does Dom Smith. DRS wide open. Can he sweep round the outside of the Renault? He'll try. Inside for the next corner for Dom Smith. Zaffro's still there. But surely Dom Smith has got it done. He has got it done. And he's back ahead of Alex Zaffro, who just won't give it up. Just won't give it up. And he's now back on the inside. Now goes Zaffro. And he's regained the place. Absolutely brilliant. Alex Zaffro just wouldn't give it up without a fight. And because of that, he retains 5th place.
He does, but sadly he did get a penalty during that battle through turn 4. He went across the grass, so that's going to hurt him because Dom does not have a penalty yet. So he's ahead in terms of penalties, but not on the road, and he'll want to stop Alex from pulling away.
Oh, Alex Zaffro really sliding the rear of the car there, going through the baseball section. Let's see if there's going to be another bit of fun between these two on the latest lap. Lap 16 now out of 18. Dom using up that overtake. He's gaining, but not gaining as quick as he'd like. Yellow flag, sector 2. I think it was one of the Ferraris. It was off as Dom gains and gains and gains. Down the inside he'll go, and Alex Zaffro. It's very late. Zaffro turns in. Dom Smith just about has enough space, but not enough space to move up a place. Stays where he is. Zaffro continues to hold on, defending well. Here comes Dom Smith. Is he going to go left? Is he going to go right? Alex Zaffro defends the inside. Dom Smith will try the outside line. Alex Zaffro defending the inside. It will be the inside for Smith into the next corner. He just squeezes the throttle to try and edge himself alongside. But still Alex Zaffro holds on, and he's defending very, very well.
What a battle, and look just behind them as well, you've got Baz on the softs closing in on blowing wheel nuts. I think Baz has a fair amount of penalties now. I'll have a check in a minute, but he's closing in on blowing wheel nuts, having a great race. Meanwhile, the top 4, they're fairly separated at the moment, and it's looking good for Parsa with 2 laps to go for the debut victory. A first victory even. Looking
very, very good for Parsa to get that first win on the board. I mean, let's be honest, they've been involved in their fair share of mayhem of the Red Bulls in their time. But they finally look like they're going to get it right with Parsa and potentially take that first victory. You know what they say, getting that first one is always the challenge, isn't it, Dan? And is that going to open the floodgates? We'll wait and see as Baza pulls alongside and breezes past Blowing Wheel now, who goes straight back into the slipstream, but he's got no ERS, no DRS, and that is job done for Baza. And with these two knocking lumps out of each other further up the road, it's just playing into Baza's hands.
Baza does have a 9-second penalty though, and Blown Wheel Nut has a 6-second penalty, so if you stay within 3 seconds he'll get it. Here comes Dom and Alex.
Dom again trying that outside line, and now he's going to cut back to the inside. A change of tactics, that should allow him to slingshot out of here, but Alex Zaffro has it parked on the apex, and the man from the Isle of Man remains frustrated by the works of Alex Zaffro. The defensive drive, it's absolutely impressive. See if Kilmarnock could defend like this. I'd love Alex Zaffro on my team. Absolutely sensational from Alex Zaffro thus far. And Dom Smith is trying everything, and he's really got the confidence, the speed and grip through there. Zaffro defending the inside, and a part of the track you'd never see a move. Can Dom Smith go down the outside? No, he won't. He expected the late lunge from Zaffro on the brake pedal. That gives him the undercut move, but it's into a corner where you can't overtake, and Zaffro defends again.
And Baz is right there now, look, he's got a 9-second penalty, remember, but he is right there on them now.
Baza will have a say in the outcome of this battle as they come round the final corner. I'm expecting Baza to do what he did a couple of laps ago and just breeze past them with the double toe. Alex Zaffro then defends the inside. Dom and Baza move across. Dom then through the middle. Baza to the outside. This is going to be absolutely epic on the brakes. Who brakes latest? Baza does and sweeps through. Dom Smith on the outside of Alex. Is he going to get it done? Yes, he is. And Alex is demoted to 7th. Brilliant stuff. What a race.
Fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. I don't think Baza's going to be able to pull away enough of 9 seconds to get away from Dom. But still, that was fantastic stuff in terms of pure racing on the road. And it's still not over because Alex is still not done with Dom yet. Look, he's still trying to have a go at him. Parsa's about to win his first race.
Here he is then. Parsa round the final couple of corners. The confetti's up in the air. They're all cheering him on in the grandstand. What a place to win your first race in TGP. Round the final corner comes Barca. He cruises over the line for Red Bull to take his first TGP2 victory. Fantastic scenes down at Red Bull. They finally crossed the line as a winner. And Dan, that could open the floodgates.
Sorry, Alex has gone wide, and Dom is right there once again. But Alex just about stays ahead, and I think Alex is going to have the position on the road, but Dom will get it through the penalties.
It's all happening on this final lap. Chris Johnson second, Magic Poopcan third, Mick Schumacher an impressive fourth. Dom Smith, due to the penalties, is fifth, Zafro sixth, and Baza seventh, with Jacko eighth, Indecisive ninth, and Blowing Wheel not 10th. Oh, I enjoyed that one, Dan. Great action out there.
Oh, that was absolutely brilliant. It was one of the best races all season. With I thought that crazy battle that Dom had with Manny Poupcan in the short Britain couldn't be topped in terms of just wild, fantastic overtakes. But that was fantastic with the three going side by side by side into the first corner towards the end there. Brilliant entertainment. Dom in the end wins out with the fifth place, Alex sixth, Baza seventh. In terms of the championship, of course, Chris Johnson will get 3 points now only on 3 points extension gap on Magic Poopcan because Party got the fastest lap.
Yeah, wow. What a race it was. The cloud came over. The rain that was anticipated never arrived. And in the end, no one could rain on Parsa's parade. He takes the victory for the first time ever. The first man across the line, the first time ever on the top step of the podium. It's victory for Parsa. He holds the trophy aloft, and what a venue to win for the first time in front of that baseball stand. And he is the victor. Chris Johnson, though, the big headline story, extends his gap by 3 points over Magic Poopcan into 13 in the championship battle. But of course, Dan, as we always do, we try and take it over two races on the one night, and then we assess it at the end of the night, that championship battle, because it can change very, very quickly. Let's take a look then. Final results. Parsa, the winner, with a fantastic result. First time ever. Chris Johnson in second, with Magic Poopcan in third, as we mentioned. 13 points now, the gap in the championship. Mick Schumacher, surprise of the afternoon. What a performance in fourth. Didn't quite have enough of the pace of the leaders. Dom Smith was fifth, with Alex Zafro sixth. A titanic tussle between those two, and then belatedly Baza got involved with his penalties in seventh. Jacko was eighth, Indecisive ninth, and Blowing Wheelnut rounds out the top 10. It was sword fighting between Mr. John and Tom Penguin in 11th and 12th. Sayre Sports was 13th, Blair Grills was 14th, Angel versus Death was 15th, Red Bull Chem in the Scarlet Ferrari was 16th, Kia was 17th, and M-Shep rounds out the 18 runners.
What a fantastic race, what a classic in Mexico. A lot of battling, and an important result, I think, for Chris Johnson to just stop the traction, that momentum that was building really for Magic Poopcan after last week. And when it came to pure pace there, you have to say it looked as though Magic Poopcan could have jumped him in the stop, but Sir Tom Penguin helped certainly, but Chris Johnson ultimately had the pace and was quite a way ahead of Magic Poopcan in the end once he crossed the line.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, about stopping the rot, I think it doesn't really matter how you stop it and by how an emphatic a margin you stop it, as long as you just stop it and cut down to 10 points, even if it's just up to 13. That's enough. It's something to build off of, Dan, isn't it? And that's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter how much you increase it by or how much you stop the rot by, as long as you stop it, and that's exactly what Chris has done.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and it's 191 points for Chris, 178 for Magic Poopcan at this stage, and Baza, who finished 7th in that race, will only jump onto 138 points at this stage now, so he's 50-something really, points off at this stage now for Baza. Yeah.
I mean, it's not over. It's not over, but it's becoming a bit far-fetched, doesn't it, Dan? It's just, I mean, if he was 50-odd points off the back of a couple of wins or a couple of strong results, you'd sit here and go, you know what, maybe, but it's just not happening for Baza at the minute, is it?
No, it's just not, and he'll be quite disappointed, I imagine. He'll be quite disappointed in himself, and probably be quite disappointed that Chris Johnson's internet managed to survive the race somehow.
Yeah, yeah, you're spot on there. So Dan, your driver of the day then, I mean, who are you going to go for? I mean, I think there's two contenders in there. I think I know who you're going to go for, though.
Well, I mean, I'm tempted to go for Bazza because of the overtakes towards the end of the race, but he did get quite a few penalties, didn't he? But I think he'd have to probably just give it to Parser for a solid, dominant drive. I mean, if this was an F1 driver of the day vote, I don't think Parser would win it simply because we barely saw him on the screen because he was just so far ahead. But in terms of just being the best out there, most consistent, most dominant in that race, surely it's Parser.
Yeah, I've got to agree. Parser for me as well. Special mention to Mick Schumacher. I think he was the surprise of the race. I know it's a first win for Parser, but
yeah,
he's been threatening it, as we mentioned so many times, didn't we? But yeah, I've got to say, you know, it's an impressive performance from Mick Schumacher. It was almost out of nowhere to get that result, but not quite enough for driver of the day in the end. But you know, we head now next, Dan, to Canada, Montreal, a kind of street circuit, not quite like a Monaco Baku kind of street circuit, a bit more like a Melbourne kind of style street circuit, isn't it? It's not right in the heart of the city. It's just kind of, you know, it's almost like it's around a park. It's around a little bit of a natural area within the city, isn't it? I know it's a man-made island, but you know,
yeah,
you understand. I mean, it's in a kind of park sort of style landscape.
yeah, definitely. It's not a proper street circuit, but it's the walls are still there. The walls are not at all too far away, and we've seen a lot of legendary moments around this fantastic circuit. It's a shame we're not going here once again this year in real life. Hopefully next year, fingers crossed. But we're going to have a race here in TGP2, and I think we're expecting possibly some interesting weather. We don't know what it's going to be, of course. We don't know how it's going to play out, but we're pretty sure we're going to get some sort of interesting weather in this race as well.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it pans out then as the cars are about to head out for qualifying, and it really, goodness me, that is a washout then, and yeah. Well, just as well me and Dan didn't come sailing over to the man-made island this morning, because I think we would have been soaked by the time we got here. The car was the option for qualifying today, and well, as soon as I see this image, Dan, I'm getting flashbacks to Canada 2011 in the race.
Yeah, definitely, and it's going to be a dry race though, apparently, and also, despite the fact that it looks absolutely soaking right now, I think it's possibly going to get drier as the session goes on as well, but this isn't how wet it is at this stage. I mean, I'd be surprised if we see dry tyres make an appearance in this session.
Yeah, I think I'll eat my socks if I see dry tyres in this session. I might live to regret that. We'll wait and see, but that is a washout, and we've got wet tyres, not even inters, wet tyres being used by everyone out there at this stage of the session. So we've got an idea to see the track, and Dan, my hopes of giving you a nice track guide in dry conditions to really see the cars attack this track is going out the window. So we're going to be doing it in the damp, and that's another thing about a street track, Dan. White lines in the wet.
Yeah, it is. I always think of just watching Blown Wheel Nuts go through here as he approaches the sort of second chicane around this track. As I always think of Massa's little moment down the straight in Canada 2011, where I think he got on the white line, didn't he, and just lost it literally on the straight in the middle of the race. And that's the thing with these kind of circuits, I suppose. But just wondering if it is going to go dry towards the end, is it actually worth going out on track at this point? Because of course you do run the risk of having a face full of barrier early on.
Yeah, sticking it in the fence, and then you look like an idiot because you're not going to be out there for the best of the conditions. I get what you're saying. It's an interesting one, Dan. It is. I mean, I suppose the drivers never really know. I mean, I know the weather can say it's going to improve, but sometimes in this game it throws you a curveball and doesn't. So, you know, maybe it's best for some of the drivers to just go out there and get a feel for it, feel what that transitional period is, where they move across onto intermediate tyres and then potentially the softs. I mean, I don't think we are going to see. I mean, I'd be stunned if we're going to see dry tyres in the next 15 minutes, because it is still raining. It's not exactly drying out yet, is it, Dan?
It's not, no. And I'm just watching Chris Johnson, who's I think he's going to be the first driver to set a lap, I think. and it's looked fairly tidy so far. Not many slidey moments, I have to say. Looks like a decent run so far for Chris Johnson. Yeah, going through the chicane there. Oh, God, I thought he lost it, but it was a lag coming into play there, and that's the thing we're going to have to watch out for, as I immediately switched to Angel versus Death, having a little moment with the wall, but he's got away with it.
Yep, he's getting away with it. So they're all just tippy-toeing their way around then. So let's see how Chris Johnson negotiates the final part of the lap. I mean, very laggily making his way towards the end. Chris Johnson, 93. Let's see what the first benchmark time is on the board. I'm sure there'll be big improvements. I mean, even if it was the first wet time on the board and it stayed wet, we'd see improvements, because the drivers don't often tackle these tracks in the wet, even when they practice, Dan, in league racing sense. Well, they've got the option to run in the wet, but they never really seem to do it, do they? It's always heavily weighted to dry conditions, because they always feel like it's a waste of time. It doesn't rain enough to do it.
You can never really be sure if like one particular corner might be a bit dry and stuff, and then of course with the inters is totally, you can't really do any inter practice really, can you?
Yeah.
So it's not really entirely worth doing, so it can be a bit of velocity, which is why of course so many people love it, of course, as Chris Johnson says a 123.3 at the moment, the early benchmark, and then Parser on 123.8.
Yeah, well, it's all starting to shape up nicely, but yeah, that's what it is, isn't it? The drivers are just finding the limits of the track because they're not used to driving in these conditions. So, I can brake a little later here, I can brake a little later there. So even if it wasn't to dry up, the times would tumble. And combined with that, just drivers running on the racetrack and clearing the standing water. So Chris Johnson on top of the minute, Parser second, Zaffro in third. We've got a bit of traffic jam in that middle sector.
Yeah,
Alex
it's
Zaffro
Jacko and Alex Zaffro, and I think it was Marco as well, got a little bit involved as well. Alex Zaffro trying to set a lap, then of course so is Jacko, and if Jacko letting Alex Zaffro go through, he is. That's providing Alex Zaffro can make the corner, which he doesn't, but pops across the runoff area there and gets away with it. And Chris Johnson, well, it's been threatening to happen for the past half an hour. He has left the session.
Well, I need to get back quickly. If there's ever a time for it to happen, qualifying is the time you want it to happen, isn't it? So he should get back in time, but that connection does look sugary, it does look shaky, and Toto Wolff is in the pit lane frantically trying to plug that Ethernet cable in.
Yes, indeed. And there we go, he's back already. Alex Zaffro just dropped it at the exit of the hairpin there, which has totally spoiled his lap. And I think he's got some front wing damage, which is not good for him. His teammate Tom Penguin is in fifth. And it's got a lot of drivers invalidating laps right now as well.
Yeah, they're all struggling. Sir Tom Penguin. Wow, is he on ice? Well, I know he's got Penguin in his name. Goodness me, that's some slide from Sir Tom Penguin. No, this is not Antarctica. This is Canada, Tom. It's not ice. You might feel like you're driving on it, certainly by the way you're going through that second sector. Let's see what his middle sector time is. How's it looking? Oh, shut up, commentator. He's found half a second. Maybe that's the way to go. Incredible.
Maybe it is, yeah. He's got to say Sports just ahead of him as well, who's about to come across and set a lap time. I don't think Alex Zaffro did have damage because his eyes actually continued. So we'll see what happens here with with Say Sports. This is going to be the next drivers across the line. We've got an Alfa Romeo also just a little bit ahead. That might be an outlap. We'll see. It was blown wheel, who's got up into fourth place. Say Sports goes second.
Sir Tom Penguin to the line and stays sixth. Only found 0.3 of a second. The lap times are certainly tumbling though. And remember, last time we had a curveball thrown at the drivers, where we went to a very short Silverstone circuit. Sir Tom Penguin stuck it on pole. So will this be another occasion where we could get a surprise such as him? But going by his pace in the way at the minute doesn't look likely.
Alex Zaffro has set a very good middle sector, and if he can get through this, the famous Wall of Champions, look, it's like slow motion, just trying to delicately get your way through. And I think Alex Zaffro might be about to put it on pole here.
I think he is, and by some distance as well. 0.9 of a second. Well, with one Renault sliding around as if he's on ice, the other one is gliding across the rain like he is. Well, I forget what's the one that walks in water again. Who's the Who's the religious guy? I forget. Moses, that's it.
I was gonna say Dynamo, the magician. I thought that's what you were talking about.
I was going somewhere with it, ready to line it up and deliver it, and then forgot the guy that walked on water. But there you go, Moses. Anyway, Alex Zaffro by 9/10 is on pole position. Chris Johnson is out there on inters. Wow, already. Maybe I'll be eating my socks at this rate.
Yeah, that's an interesting choice, isn't it? He's the only guy out. In fact, Shep has also just gone out there on inters, I can see. But so it's just those two out at the moment. And again, though, it doesn't seem too troubling for Chris Johnson so far. Just have a look, see what Magic Poop Cannon does here. No, he's way off on this lap. So I'm not sure many people are improving at the moment. Is Jacko about to improve? There he comes through the final corner. And yeah, he is definitely about to improve. We'll see where this puts him. Probably about third, fourth, you would imagine. And he does indeed go into fourth place.
So let's see then what kind of lap time we can expect here from Chris Johnson. We've got Mr. John and Kaya in the pits on dry tyres. In the pits though, not moving yet, but that might suggest they're anticipating getting out on those come the end of the session. We've got them in the tyre blankets. We'll wait and see. Chris Johnson then attacks this flying lap, the first flying lap on intermediate tyres. Let's see how it's looking. It's certainly looking, it's certainly looking drier out there, Dan. Not as much standing water. There should be time in the back here.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? It is definitely looking a lot drier. We'll see how this goes. Oh, he's just avoided the wall there. I think the car's gone off ahead of him, but it's okay now. Green flag. And look at the first sector.
1.1. Not overall. In the first sector only, which is about 25 seconds long. Chris Johnson timing the inters to absolute perfection, and he is going to absolutely smash Alex Zaffro's time aside. He smashed everyone else aside. This is going to quite literally obliterate the pole time we've seen so far. 1.8 seconds now quicker than what we've seen from anyone else. Well, through the first two sectors, that's how much quicker he is on his current best. He's going to be on pole by at least a second, perhaps more by the time he gets down to the final couple of corners. Chris Johnson then on the move on the intermediate tyre, and there can be no doubt now that it is the preferred tyre of choice. Here he comes then, finally, someone with some kind of attacking nature.
Oh, he's invalidated it.
Oh, there you go then. Attacks it and invalidates. So now we will look to maybe the likes of Sear Sports. Oh, he's put it in the wall, brushing the wall, and he's got wing damage on the inters of Sear Sports. So inters working for some, not others.
Yeah, well, he was almost certainly about to improve, wasn't he? And then he invalidated it. I tell you what, Red Bull Kim and Mick Schumacher are possibly the ones to watch here. They're very close to each other on the track. They're both on the inters. They're both going around the hairpin. And I think they're probably going to set some decent lap times here.
Is Red Bull Kim about to put the Ferrari on provisional pole? Well, that is something I never thought I'd see. But here he comes, Red Bull Kim, towards the end of the lap. I don't think it'll be pole, but I don't think it'll be too bad either. Red Bull Kim then, round the final couple of corners, heading for the line. Can Red Bull Kim stick the Ferrari on pole? No, but he goes third quickest. Red Bull Kim goes third, Mick Schumacher goes fastest by an absolute distance. But Red Bull Kim, fourth quickest for Ferrari. And there is joy in Copenhagen, there is joy across Denmark and in Maranello. You can hear the cheers from Canada. What a performance from Red Bull Kim.
Fantastic stuff. And Chris Johnson's left the session again, by the way, as well, so there'll be even more cheers in Maranello, I imagine, as Bazer, though, is very quick in the middle sector, and I think Bazer is, well, he's certainly going to put himself right up there. I don't know if he's going to beat Mick Schumacher's time. We'll find out as he comes through. And he's invalidated as well.
They're all doing it, apart from Red Bull Kim and Mick Schumacher. Remember, folks, for a bit of history, Red Bull Kim left the league. Mick Schumacher took his spot at Haas. He's now on pole. Red Bull Kim then jumped across to Ferrari, and they're both shining lights in this session. First and fourth with 6 minutes to go.
That's a good point. It's a bit personal between those two as well, isn't it? And yeah, Marco has the high ground at the moment. Just watching Magic Poop Cannon here. He's on the inters and is about to hit the second sector split. And of course, he's going to have to hope that he can get ahead of Chris Johnson. 48.5, that looks good. He's got a car ahead of him though, Mr. John. Hopefully he doesn't hold him up too much.
It's all happening. It is all happening out there in qualifying.
Blown Wheelnut's about to set a good lap, goes second.
Blown Wheelnut then goes second quickest. Alex Zaffro on an out lap. Red Bull Kim going slowly at the minute. Magic Poop Cannon is on one. And this should blow the competition away, you would think. Round the final corner comes Magic Poop Cannon. It's Mick Schumacher from blowing wheel nut from Tom Penguin at the minute. Magic poop cannon to the line, smashes them by 0.7 of a second to go quickest of all.
Had to do that. He had to get that lap in, didn't he? And he did not invalidate it, and that is what happens when you don't invalidate it. And it's fantastic stuff. Magic Poop Cannon at 20.4. These times are going to start tumbling now like a fruit machine here, as it's all going to be coming across the line setting lap times, as long as you don't invalidate.
Yeah, it's all changing moment by moment. Do you think we're going to see dry stand? I think it's going to be a tall order.
I don't know, I can see Kaya sitting there on dry tyres. Imagine if he comes out and just suddenly puts in the lap of his life, really, and steals pole. Just is that a card off? It's a McLaren. It's Blair Gill's has gone off on his out lap as well. Just trying to track everybody's lap times to see if anyone's going to improve. It's all happening.
Yeah, it is all happening. 5 minutes to go, and the session is all over the place with these lap times.
Yeah, I think Blown Wheel Nut. Blown Wheel Nut's about to improve. Is that an AlphaTauri about to improve as well? No, starting a lap. Let's see how Blown Wheel Nut goes then. It's going to be to the top. He goes second. It's an Alfa Romeo 1-2.
Alfa Romeo 1-2. It is all happening then at the top of the standings at the minute. It's all changing as Magic Poop Cannon is looking to strengthen his grip. Only a 2/10 cushion at the minute, but he's going out there again, but he's on a slow lap. So let's see who else we can find. Sir Tom Penguin starts a flying lap on the intermediate tyres. Is he going to be the one to put a shock to the system? Remember, he was on pole at Britain Short a few weeks ago. What can he do out there at the minute? We've got Angel versus Death starting a lap. Alex Zaffro just starting one as well. Mr. John too.
Dom as well, looking quick.
Jacko looking quick as well. Jacko the furthest round at the minute. So we'll go to him, then we'll switch our attention to Dom Smith. Perhaps Joe Sayre as well. We'll go to Joe then, Dom. So Jacko, Joe then Dom, the order we're going to in a few moments' time. Let's see what Jacko can do. A bit tentative on the entry to the final corner, but he's going to get a run to the line nonetheless. Doesn't look like it's going to be pole. It might be front row or two. It's third quickest. So now we go to Sayre Sports. What's he got up his sleeve? Going quickly. Is he going to go quickest? No, he's not. He only goes fifth. Now we need to look for Dom Smith.
He's pitted.
He's pitted.
Is he going to go to dries, I wonder?
Let's see then. Blair Grylls in the final couple of corners. We've got Sir Tom Penguin going again as well. We've got a Red Bull in the final corner too, but it's Blair Grylls we'll watch for the minute. He goes seventh quickest. One of the Red Bulls in the final couple of corners. That's Parser for the line. Parser, where will he go? Then we switch our attention to Sir Tom Penguin. Parser goes quickest.
Goes quickest.
Sir Tom Penguin's pitting, so he's bailed out of that latest run. What about Alex
Indecisive.
Zaffro? Indecisive and Alex Zaffro in the final corner. Indecisive. He's going to head for the line then. Where is Indecisive going to go? He goes sixth. Zaffro goes quickest. First man into the 1:19s. 1 minute 19.7 on pole by half a second. What is it with Renault in qualifying these days, Dan? Flying.
Oh, this is fantastic, isn't it? And Dom, Dom went for softs there, but then switched back to inters again.
Red Bull Kim is on the dries.
Come on, Red Bull Kim. Imagine if he does it. Jacko is also improving here. If he can get through the final chicane, I think he's going to improve.
Oh, this is nuts. I'm trying to message Red Bull Kim. Make sure you leave it late. Jacko then, second quickest. This is incredible, Dan. Well, this is changing corner by corner. Well, second by second, I should say. Blair Grylls is off down at the hairpin, by the way.
He is indeed. So we're Indecisive also on a lap at this stage, and I think he's off on this one. I think. And Magic Poop Cannon coming out on his out lap. So and Bazza as well out on softs, and Kaya.
Oh, they're all going for it. They're all going for it. They're all going for it. This is it then. What is going to happen in the next few minutes? I'm going to be eating my socks, I think.
DRS has been enabled.
This is nuts. Red Bull Kim has got a glorious opportunity here. If he can get it right, he's about to start a flying lap. This is incredible.
Yeah, I just wonder maybe he's going to be starting his lap. He's going to be one of the first, really, isn't he, to cross the line? But still, if Red Bull Kim gets this lap right, seriously, this could be a top 5 for Red Bull Kim.
It could be. Red Bull Kim attacking turns 1 and 2. Can he put the Ferrari on pole position for the Maranello? Can he delight the Danish fans? Can he delight the Tifosi here with a shock result? Down the hill he goes, he's on the attack. There's the Danish driver, the Viking, pushing hard through the first sector. He's 2/10 up on his fist. He's purple through the first sector. Go on, Kim.
Oh, please, Red Bull Kim, please do this.
The man who, of course, used to work...
Sorry, yeah, Andy, everyone's struggling on the Inters now. Everyone is struggling on the Inters.
Red Bull Kim, a potential famous moment here for him. Can he put his name up in lights? He's 4.8 up. He's heading for pole position here. Red Bull Kim is absolutely flying out there. This is an astonishing moment, possibly one of the greatest moments in TGP history. Get out of the way, indecisive. Get out of the way. Red Bull Kim has got 2 corners to go. Carefully does it, Kim. That's careful. He's heading for the line. The checkered flag is there. Red Bull Kim going for the line. Is he putting it on pole? Yes, he is. Red Bull Kim, pole position. Pole position. Red Bull Kim. Can you believe this?
Baza's going to go quicker, I think.
Baza, I think, is going to beat it. Red Bull Kim was on provisional pole. He's going to be at the least in the front row, it seems. Baza goes quickest. Can Chris Johnson or anyone else deny Red Bull Kim a famous front row here? This is we need to get ourselves together here. This is nuts.
Sir Tom Penguin. Sir Tom Penguin going quick.
Sir Tom Penguin then, round the final couple of corners. It won't be pole for Red Bull Kim. What can Sir Tom Penguin do? Kaya goes second. Sir Tom Penguin goes third. This is crazy. Absolutely.
Chris Johnson might be about to do it.
Chris Johnson then, can he deny absolutely all of them and put it on pole? What an end to qualifying this is, as Chris Johnson attacks the final few corners. You would think this would be pole, and by quite a distance. Here comes Chris Johnson to the line, leaving it very, very late. It should be pole. It is 111.0. Chris Johnson on pole position.
Well, I said a top 5 for Red Bull Kim, and he's done it. It's going to be a top 5 for Red Bull Kim.
What have we just witnessed? What have we just witnessed? After all of that, it's a Mercedes front row lockout with Chris Johnson and Baza. Sir Tom Penguin's third. Kaya and Red Bull Kim are 4th and 5th. Oh, Dad, speak, say something. Oh, I'm speechless.
That is one of the greatest qualifying sessions I have ever seen in any real life or game. Look at the times.
Absolutely nuts. And I can tell you now, there's only 5 cars within 107% after that session. Chris Johnson is on pole, 111.0. It is Baza second, half a second off. Sir Tom Penguin is third. The story of qualifying, though, Kaya 4th, Red Bull Kim 5th. Not a misprint, folks. Alex Zafro is 6th, Jacko 7th, Magic Poop Cannon is 8th, Blair Wells 9th, 10th for Parsa, Angel versus Def 11th, Blow and Wheelnar is 12th, Indecisive, Mr. John, Mick Schumacher, Sayre Sports, Cena, Dom Smith, and M. Shit. But I know he didn't get pole, but seeing Red Bull Kim go quickest when the checkered flag was out is one of the greatest things I've seen in TGP history, Dan.
Yeah, I agree. What was it, about like 5 seconds or something like that? That was quite a moment, I have to say. It's got to be like, that is a top 10 TGP moments, isn't it? That was absolutely amazing to see. And this is going to be, I don't really know what kind of start we're about to see here, because we're going to have the likes of Kaya up there, Red Bull Kim. Can they get good starts? You got Magic Poop Cannon, who's down in 8th, and as the championship leader on pole.
It's incredible. It really is. It's going to be so mixed up, so interesting to see how it pans out. But you're absolutely right. There's going to be almost like a bottleneck from 4th downwards, isn't there? No disrespect to Kim and Kaya, but they're just not meant to be there on the grid. So, I mean, it's going to be quite the interesting and exciting start. Hopefully, it doesn't all end in tears when they get to the first corner.
Yeah, and I think the top 5 will then all have to start on softs, I assume, presumably, and the others will have free tyre choice, won't they?
Yeah, well, if there is one shining light for Magic Poop Cannon, I suppose that is it. Oh well, it's the strangest grid ever for round 12 of the championship, and we are racing. I say strangest, it's a Mercedes front row as they leave the grid. Chris Johnson on pole with Baza second as they run down into turn 1, and Tom Penguin diving down the inside there, nearly finding a way through into that first corner. He can't quite get it done. Red Bull Kim already being swallowed up. He's down to 10th by the time they get to the first corner, but it's Chris Johnson leading from Baza second and Sir Tom Penguin third, just the start that he was after, and they're away and started well on the Mercedes.
Yeah, I'm sad to say this, but Red Bull Kim and Kaya actually collided at turn 1, which is a huge shame, and now they've gone way down the order. Saying that, Red Bull Kim's still 10th. Angel vs Death has made a good start, and Jacko, I think, has had a bit of a moment. He's lost a load of positions.
Yeah, it's all happening, and yeah, well, we're on board with Mr. John now. Further down the field, all kinds of action in there. Battling away with Blowing Wheel now as Cena tries to go round the outside. Cena goes deep, and Red Bull Kim will say thank you very much to that, maybe. Can't quite get close enough, and he stays in 11th place. But it's all action aplenty in the midfield as the field try and sort themselves out after that chaotic qualifying session that's seen so many cars in different places, as Tom Smith is clipped there by Indecisive down at the hairpin. And we've got a safety car. Why is that?
I don't know. I think we've got some debris, maybe. Must be some debris on the track. And we have a safety car, and both Mercedes are pitting.
Together! Bazza's going to have to queue. What a disaster. Sir Tom Penguin will now take the lead of this race. Alex Zafro's in. This is a disaster down at Mercedes for Bazza, and that really has dented his championship aspirations even further. So they all pour into the pits, and away they go.
There's been a few races this season at Chris Johnson's pit on the first lap, and has managed to come through the field in a fantastic way. I'm not sure how this is going to play out, really. 18 laps now on these medium tyres. He's going to come out in 4th, and Dom did not pit, Angel vs Death did not pit, Kaya didn't pit, the rest have.
Yeah, well, let's get the stop graphic up for everyone. There you go. So Kaya did not, Dom Smith, Angel vs Death, and Sir Tom Penguin also did not. The rest did. And that's worked out very well for Chris Johnson, because he's put a car between he and the guys that have stopped. So, you know, this is the perfect scenario, isn't it?
Yeah, it's actually worked out quite well, hasn't it, for him? Because, as you say, ahead of Kaya, and then he's got Magic Poop Cannon in 7th, and Bazza in 9th as well after he had to queue. So, yeah, looking good for Chris Johnson, you have to say. Probably the right decision to pit in the end, but there's a long way to go on those medium tyres for this race, and it's going to be interesting now to see what happens with the likes of Dom and Angel vs Death and Sir Tom Penguin in this race. I hope Dom doesn't have further bad luck here, because he had bad luck in terms of tyre choice at the end of that qualifying in Canada, and we'll find out later in the race if it was right or not to stay out here. Yeah,
we sure will. But it looks like the majority have gone for that pit stop, and they feel it's the way to go. We've got a mixture of tyre compounds, though, don't we? A real mixture. Softs, mediums, hards, all in use from drivers that have pitted. So it'll be quite the interesting scenario. But the other thing is, Dan, there's a good chance we could get a safety car again around the track like this. So maybe that's what the guys that haven't pitted have thought. Okay, hopefully there'll be another one, and when it arrives, we'll have fresh tyres towards the end.
Yeah, I think you're right. We've actually got a few more drivers in the pit lane here. Kaya pitted, but Poop Cannon is changing his front wing. So he must have had an instant, and he's going to drop right to the back of the field. And he's on the soft tyres. This is an absolute nightmare.
Ugh, this could not be any worse for Magic Poop Cannon. All that hard work to close the gap down in the championship. He's going to have his work cut out to try and stop it from being opened straight back up again. Because he's on the softs, you'll need to pit again, because they won't go to the distance. Well, they don't. I don't think so around here.
No, well, there's just, I mean, unless he is literally Sergio Perez or Lewis Hamilton, I don't think he's going to get those tyres to the end in a significant way. Anyway.
Well, that's going to be curtains for Magic Poop Cannon. I don't know what he's got up his sleeve, but he'll need to do something. I don't think the safety car will be out for another lap, will it? So I don't think he can even make a pit stop at the end of this lap to go back to mediums. We'll wait and see.
No, and as Blair Grills and Say Sports collide, so they're going to have penalties now as well, which we're going to have to take at some stage or get added at the end. And yeah, let's see then. Magic Poop Cannon to try and do something special here. But how is Sir Tom Penguin going to handle this safety car restart?
Yep, we're about to find out. He's leading the pack. About 2 months ago, we'd have looked at this and be stunned that Sir Tom Penguin is leading a safety car pack. We don't really do that now, don't we? Not. I mean, we think he's actually quite a quick driver. He's improved his pace, and he is out of position, but he's not ridiculously out of position.
He's gone very early,
and he's caught quite a few of them napping as they get underway again on lap 3 out of 18. Sir Tom Penguin leads them across the start line to begin lap number 4 out of 18 with Angel versus Death, and he's hit the back of him, and that was not Angel, that was Death. You see him there, and he's gone into the back of Sir Tom Penguin and sent him spinning round down to the rear of the pack. What a disaster, and Angel versus Death has got wing damage. Dom Smith is through, and now he's collided with the other Renault. Thankfully, no damage for Alex Afro, and now Parsa has gone round in a spin as well. Real drama, and Angel versus Death not covering himself in glory whatsoever, is he?
Carnage stuff then. That caused a big instant, didn't it? And a big jam with all the drivers behind. Is this more contact?
Yeah, Angel versus Death really holding Baza up on the edge of the corner. Baza clipped him twice, lost 2 places. One to John
one. Look at Alex Afro going for Chris Johnson for 2nd place here. Chris Johnson's trying to keep it at the hairpin.
Oh wow, crazy stuff down there. Alex Afro really is the man in the move here, and he's on the grass. Don't go there. Nearly sliding across the track and wiping out a championship contender, but he keeps it all together and maintains 3rd place. But that was a hate-him-scare-him moment if you're in the Mercedes pit wall.
It was indeed, and Alex Afro couldn't attack Chris Johnson then because he was out of VRS, so he couldn't have a go down the straight. So what's going on further behind? Blown Wheeler up in a fantastic bit.
Yeah, he's having a fine race, isn't he? He's actually attacking Mr. John and making it a fantastic 4th. So through goes Blown Wheeler ahead of Mr. John. Action aplenty at the start of this race as Alex Afro continues to hassle and harry the World Championship leader.
And we have Parson in the pit lane, and after that spin, and Marco and Angel versus Death, of course, are obviously pitting as well at that stage. And Magic Poop Cannon is in 13th, still on no soft tyres.
Yep, he's going to have to make some progress. He's slowly going about his business as Sayre Sports gets closer to the back of Cena.
Oh, Alex Afro has just tried to go and have a go at Chris Johnson and lost it, and he's going to get overtaken by a lot of cars now. Very, very lucky that he did not take Chris Johnson with him there.
Oh, look at Joe Sayre sliding down the inside then, just behind Alex Afro, and colliding with Cena, and he's going to Kubica into the wall. Full-on Kubica, just about keeps the wheels on his wagon, and we've got a virtual safety car, and that's a great time to pit if you're Dom Smith.
Yeah, that was a big crash, wasn't it, for Joe Sayre there, as he rejoined the track in an odd way, but well, it happened, and Dom now pits, as you say, and this is quite fortunate for him, isn't it?
It's a massive, massive result for him with that collision there with Joe Sayre. Full-on Kubica into the wall he went, and Dom Smith will be released on softs though. Now that is not right. Will they go the distance?
Well, I mean, it's going to be very difficult, isn't it? Yeah, he starts on the medium tyres. That is going to be tough for Dom, but I suppose it was well worth taking the advantage of pitting now. And he's just out the head of Jacko.
Oh,
and it's not Mercedes.
Is that Chris Johnson? It's Baza.
It's Baza.
Baza
How
off
did
the
that
road.
happen?
Don't know, but he's got not very much of that front wing left, and he is going to be dangling with his tail between his legs back to the pits.
Oh my word! It's another one of those races where
everything happens.
I have to say, Chris Johnson seems to just get so much fortune favouring his way, because you see all the title contenders and all the rivals in the race have many issues, and Chris Johnson just serenely comes through, and there he is in the lead now.
That was one of those moments where you go, is that a Mercedes? Is that the world? You know, you just never know. It just cuts to it. Almost like you get in real life where the director cuts to it, isn't it? But
Tell me about it.
It just appeared on the screens there, didn't it? It was nuts. But in the end, it was not the World Championship leader Chris Johnson who leads on his way from Blown Wheelnut and Mr. John. It's a bit of a wild top three.
And Blown Wheelnut has a drive-through penalty as well for speeding at the VSC restart, which is not good for him at all, of course. Just seeing if anyone's going to go for a move here. Blair Gill's in a solid 5th place. Cena pitted. Cena did not pit, sorry. Cena pitted at the start, didn't he? But he does have a penalty. And he's got a bit wide there, and this could cut him under threat from Blair Grills.
Oh, the 3 of them in there. Look at Tom Smith on the soft tyre, right in there, about to get involved. And he will be fancying his chances to gobble up these cars very, very quickly, because he might feel he's got a chance for a very, very strong result this afternoon. Look at Blair Grills literally climbing all over the back of Cena. He's down the inside, he's through. Cena's going to be out of shape though, and Dom Smith on soft tyres should breeze round the outside. Oh, that's very, very close. Coming into contact there, the pair of them, just like Joe Sayre did with Cena. Down the inside goes Dom, testing the waters and testing them to perfection.
Nice
he's through and up into 5th place. Great move, in fact.
Really good move, and he's got 11 laps still to go on those soft tyres, but he's making good progress so far. Can ever go Baz down the straight? Don't think he will. But Magic Poop Cannon in 8th place. He's on the back of Jacko for 7th.
Let's see if we can shuffle down to that. I'm losing it. There we go. Got it now, and he's through. And ahead and up into 7th position goes Magic Poop Cannon. Out of shape though on the exit. And Jacko is going to power back alongside, overtaking Hughes. touching wheels down the straight. Can he brake later? He can. Can he get to the corner? Debatable, and just about holds on. I think that's fair enough, to be honest. Only just kept it on the road, and Magic Poopcan is left frustrated.
And Dom gets past Blair Grills. Dom got past Blair Grills in turn 1, is in 4th place now then, is beginning to pull away already on those fresh, soft tyres. Let's see if he can catch up. And Blown Wheelnuts has that drive through. He's going to have to come in, surely, this lap to save that.
Yep, so that will promote Dom Smith into the podium places, and you would feel with Mr. John in the Hearts, it shouldn't take too much to reel him in either. Great result potentially being lined up for him as Magic Poopcan continues to try and limit the damage.
Sorry, Andy. Sorry about that, but I just, yeah, because he's going to have to try and go the way, isn't he, on those soft tyres? It's going to be really difficult, I think.
Yeah, it will be difficult. We'll see how he gets on as Magic Poopcan tries the undercut on Jacko. He's been left frustrated by the Racing Point driver and his staunch defence of that 7th place, but it's no longer a staunch defence because Magic Poopcan is through, and I can't see Jacko coming back from there as Blown Wheelnut serves that drive-through penalty.
Does indeed. So, Shepard hits the back of Jacko there. I think Jacko had a bit of a wobbly exit, and Shepard took him by surprise. Magic Poopcan then goes into 6th place with the Blown Wheelnut penalty. Shepard's going for Jacko. Nice move.
That's a fantastic move. That was a really impressive move with the damaged front wing, and Shep goes up to 8th. That's potentially move of the day. That was brilliant. Not something I'd expect from him, but he's gone wide. He's going to vettle it, but he'll rejoin, and now Jacko's going to go back through.
I'll tell you what, that was handy stuff for Magic Poopcan, because Blown Wheelnut came out the pit lane from his drive-through just behind. So that really couldn't have gone any better, I suppose. Maybe Blown Wheelnut can perhaps try and hold these guys up for a little bit now. Although saying that the gap is 1.8 seconds. As Sayre Sports is out of the race.
So it's a disaster for Sayre Sports. He parks up in the garage. Game over for the Ferrari man, and his race is run. So Magic Poopcan.
Look how much Dom's closed in on Mr. Johnny on those fresh softs. He's right on him now, and he's going to have a go into turn 1, I reckon.
This isn't even a contest. Mr. John picks up a 3-second time penalty, and that is Premier League against League 2, not even Championship, and that was easy pickings on those tyres for Dom Smith.
Yeah.
Up he goes into 2nd place. I hear a ripple of applause from the grandstand. Not something I hear very often, not through my ears, but I'm hearing it. They appreciate
Dom was Brighton,
Smith.
Mr. John was Man City there, I think.
Yeah, and through he goes. Up into 2nd place goes Dom Smith, and this could be a very, very, very handsome result for him.
Oh, Jacko and Shepard getting so close again, and it's allowed Indecisive to go through. I think Shepard had a bit of a moment, so Indecisive goes into 9th, and Shepard then gets a penalty as well. But some penalties starting to stack up here as well now, and Blown Wheelnut is pulling away from Jacko, and is actually keeping up with Magic Poopcan.
Yeah, Blown Wheelnut having a fine race despite that penalty, which is taking the shine off it a little bit, but showing he did have that pace nonetheless by clinging on to Magic Poopcan. And as you say, Dan, as we keep an eye on Shep, who really is getting his elbows out today. I'll be quite impressed with this performance as he gets back on the tail of Indecisive. He's going to go down the outside of Indecisive, outbreaks him. Can he make it stick? No, he can't. Indecisive says, oh no, you don't. Not round there, you don't. And he holds on to that 9th place, but here comes the DRS. Here comes the overtake, but Indecisive has it to the car in front, and the 3 of them are all going to close right up again, and Jacko's going to be under threat, looking in his mirrors come the braking zone for turn 1, I think, Dan.
This is easily the best performance I've seen Shep have on this game.
And here he goes again.
And he's going to go for Indecisive now, yeah, for 9th. He's going to get him, I think.
He is going to get it. Well, this is fantastic stuff from Shep. Looked quite rusty, looked to be erratic, struggling a little bit for pace, but this looks like a really smooth performance with a bit of pace to add as well. And I think he's got wing damage, so very impressive.
Wow, yeah, really good stuff then for him. And just having a look here at Magic Poopcan's progress, because he's right on Cena for 5th place. Oh, he nearly went into the back of Cena for 5th place there. And they've got to get this move done, of course, on those soft tyres.
Yeah, he sure does, and he's now right there as Sir Tom Begwin picks up a penalty, as does Kaya. Plenty of those out there today. Certainly a track you could get them on. High speed chicanes, always difficult to avoid track limits on corners like that. As Magic Poopcan now with the DRS open, the overtaking use, that is going to be candy from a baby, and that is 5th place. And suddenly he doesn't. Oh! Cena into the back of Poopcan, sends him hurtling over the chicane. And did Poopcan get a penalty there? Because if he did, I'd like to see that one removed. No, did he not? Maybe it was Cena that got it. My bad.
Yeah, but a bit of almost had the commentator's curse there, Andy. Just as you were about to praise Magic Poop Cannon.
Yeah, wow, you're right. And he's done 9 laps in those softs, but suddenly the damage limitation he's done makes this not as big a dent as what it could have been, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, but I mean, he does still have to get to. I mean, I hate to be the party pooper and the doom monger, but he does still have to go another 6 laps on these soft tyres, and I don't know, maybe he's got the pace, maybe he's quick enough to keep ahead of the likes of Cena and Blown Wheelnut towards the end, but it's going to be tough.
Party pooper, I love it. Name's Magic Poop Cannon. Epic stuff from Dan the Man, as always, folks. You don't get that anywhere else, I tell you. Magic Poop Cannon then. Will his tyres go poop or pop before the end? We'll see.
Oh, look at Blake Grills from Mr. John for 3rd place, side by side into the final chicane. And Mr. John just stayed ahead.
Very, 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 very close. But a second bite of the cherry. Double DRS for Blair Grills. I think the first time we seen double DRS here was Canada 2011. It was something we referenced earlier. Oh no! Oh, so close. Great racing, and Mr. John holds on.
Yeah, really good driving between those guys and at this stage. And well, you'd think it would allow Magic Poop Cannon to hopefully close in a little bit on these two, but it's not happening super quick. And we'll see if Blake Grills can eventually get the position. Blake Grills had a fantastic week last week. I think got a 3rd and a 4th place last week. Really had a solid week. And can he get another podium tonight, I wonder, from Mr. John?
Could be a 3rd or a 4th again tonight. Could be a 5th if he can't get through quickly, because Poop Cannon will be coming. We'll wait and see how it pans out. Lap 13 out of 18, Chris Johnson. Is this the easiest race he's had this season? Perhaps it is. 10-second lead, and he's not really had much of a fight from any of his rivals so far. He's cruising.
Yeah, I think it was really fortunate, wasn't it? Certain events that fell his way, but just noticed Blair Grills has an 8-second penalty. So he's going to have to get this move done on Mr. John, and he's going to have to pull away. Oh, wow! Nearly having a big accident there. I know he's going to make the corner. Yes, he does. And Blair Grills got and then he hits the wall, and he's going to be very difficult for him to pull away now. Yeah,
that's wing damage, and around here, you don't want that. And that's now going to make things very difficult. Magic Poop Cannon gained half a second on these guys on that last lap, so he will be gaining even more now that there's wing damage on that car. So let's see if Poop Cannon can get there before the end of the race. Mr. John, though, he's now turning the tables, and it looks like he's going to be the man to start applying some pressure, doesn't he?
I think it will be, yes. So 10.5 second lead for Chris Johnson, and it's just Chris Johnson and Dom and Red Bull Kim who we get to pick up a penalty in this race, or certainly have a penalty at this moment in time.
Sorry, what? That could see Red Bull Kim catapult up the order. I'm just looking. 11 seconds though between Tom and Baza, so maybe not actually for Red Bull Kim. We'll wait and see how he gets on. But he's having a fine race after that 5th place in qualifying, as Mr. John tries to get that little bit closer to Blair Grills to see if he can retaliate. Magic Poop Cannon is slowly but steadily getting there. Let's see if he can get there before the end of this race and put up a fight.
It's another penalty there as well for Blair Grills, and the McLaren gets penalty as well at the identical time. So it's 11 seconds now for Blair Grills, those penalties. That's not good.
Yeah, 11 seconds worth, and that will demote him down the order. And Magic Poop Cannon, you know, I keep saying it, he's got to get to the end, though. You're right, Dan, doesn't he? They might go pop. I mean, is that a possibility, do you think? Do you think there's a possibility he could run the risk of a puncture here?
It's tough for me to say, to be honest, because I don't think I've ever gone 15 laps on the soft tyres around Canada. So, I mean, it's going to be very close. They're not going to be in a good way, put it that way, at the end of this race. Alex Afro gets ahead of Cena into 7th place. And the Dom, meanwhile, is actually, with these guys battling, Blair Grills and Mr. John, it's gap is really staying quite similar, really. 3.6 seconds, 3.9 seconds. So it's looking good for Dom, despite being on those softs.
Yeah, it is, but I think it's a bit of an issue. Oh, Baz is out. Baz is retired, and I think with that ends all hopes of a championship.
Yeah.
That's it now, definitely. For Baza, it wasn't looking good anyway. I don't think he was going to get very many points anyway, even on the Joe Sayers point system. But there's a bit of a conundrum here for Magic Poop Cannon. Does he just go on to the finish and see what happens, or does he pit get fresh tyres and make up a bit of ground before the end of the race, because, you know, there isn't much of a field spread in this race. There usually is, but in this race in particular, down to Mick Schumacher, they're actually not that spread out, aren't they not? So if he pitted, he would be down in 12th, 13th, perhaps even worse. It's probably 12th place if he pitted, Magic Poop Cannon, but there's a good chance he'd make places back up. However, if he got a puncture, he'd lose all the places he would lose in a pit stop, and potentially more.
That's a good point, isn't it? It's difficult to say without knowing exactly what condition his tyres are in. I think if I were him, I would stay out, to be honest.
Yeah, so would I. So would I. I'm just trying to put a picture in the heads of the viewers, and maybe what he's thinking as to, will these get there, will they not? We don't know what state they're in, but it's certainly an interesting one.
Yeah, we could do with an Amazon AWS graphic there, couldn't we, as Jacko and Cena are going side by side now, and Parser's beginning to gain on this one. This is going to get a bit tasty, I think, between these guys towards the end of this race. Look at them.
Yeah, it sure is. Parser, who won his first race last time out in a lowly 10th at the minute, and now he's gaining on his Red Bull teammate. Cena couldn't make the move. Parser will try and do, but Cena couldn't, and that is a lovely move from Parser down the inside, getting it done. Sweet as a nut, and he's now going to try and get the move done in Jacko as well into the turn one. Not close enough, can't quite get it done.
Can't quite get it done, as you say then, yes, and he's going to tangle it round still. He might be able to go for it at the next corner. No, I don't think he will, as he goes for a silly dive bomb. Just 15 laps on the hard tyres for Jacko, 12 laps on the mediums for Parser.
Yeah, well, that's another good point, isn't it? I mean, even Jacko's tyres will be worn out at this stage. Imagine what Magic Poop Cannons are going to be like. It's absolutely crazy, isn't it? As Parser gets in the DRS, is he going to be close enough for a move? Not quite. Hairpin Dan, big chance.
Yeah, there's a blown wheel nut is seemingly closing a little bit on Magic Poop Cannon now, I have to say, but is this going to be the chance then for Cena?
No, Jacko deep though. I think he's seen it coming. I think he thought it was coming. Couldn't quite do it. Jacko will get the slingshot because he broke so late on the exit. He'll get on the throttle earlier, and he is back ahead of Parser. But is he just delaying the inevitable? Because here comes Parser. No ERS left. Plenty of DRS though to power alongside and outbrake the Racing Point. Outdrag it as well, and is up into 8th place. And Jacko demoted to 9th.
Oh, and that's a Haas getting all shaky there at the final corner, just about keeping it out of the wall. But look at Blair Grills here. Dom is beginning to struggle, I think, big time, because Blair Grills is close right in here. And if Dom... Oh, he's sliding all over the place, Dom, at the moment. Those tyres are gone.
Can't believe they're gone on his, but not Magic Poop Cannon's. Incredible. Magic Poop Cannon pulling out his inner Sergio Perez here. Dom Smith, well, driving like he's in the 2019 Haas at the minute. And really
it's going to be very tough. It's going to be really difficult for him here, I think. But of course, the fact that he doesn't have a penalty could be a saving grace here. Don't forget, Blake Grills behind. He's got what? Is it 11 seconds the penalty for Blake Grills?
Yeah,
a bit less for Mr. John. It's 6 seconds for Mr. John. So it's
comes,
not end of the world.
Here comes Chris Johnson though to cross the line and win by a distance, a country mile in fact. But here comes Blake Grills on the inside. Is he going to get it stopped? Oh, they're touching wheels. Look at Mr. John. What a run. Mr. John's going to get out the final corner. It was stopped in his tracks though by 2 cars blocking his path. Blair Grills gets to the line second, but it will in the end drop him down to 6th. Dom gets the second. Poop Cannon third, gets to the end of the race on what can only be described as tyres at the canvas. Mr. John 4th, Floor Wheel Nut 5th. What a race.
Cena crashed at the final corner. Oh, that's a big accident. His rear wheels are all off, and big accident at the end for Cena. Must apologise there. I was so busy watching the battle and seeing if Dom could hang on. I did not realise Chris Johnson was across the line. Yep,
and he does get the victory, Chris Johnson. And, you know, that is really what you call stopping the rot now, isn't it? I mean, that's another 10 points, so that's 13 tonight. He's doubled his lead from, 13, add 13, and it's now a 26-point gap. And that's a lot more handsome, isn't it?
It certainly is, yes. It was just what he needed after the poor weekend last weekend. And, well, how thankful will he be that his internet connection went during qualifying there and not during the race?
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, that could have been a disaster because, I think the way the race panned out, he could have disconnected 3 times to came back, but had it, disconnected in the opening couple of laps, it would have made for a challenging race. It really would have, because it was one of those races where you just didn't want to be in the pack, in the group, because everything just kept happening. Someone kept falling by the wayside. It was a race you wanted to lead from the front and not get involved in drama, and it showed in the gap. And Chris Johnson then takes a big step towards a championship. A bit early to be saying he's going to win it, but doubling your lead, getting up to 26 points, more than a race win, that's important, Dan.
It is indeed, yeah. It's significant, isn't it? And below Christian, I think his lead was even bigger at this stage 2 weeks ago, and then last week he didn't have a great weekend. Magic Poop kind of won them both, and suddenly it closed up again. Still a long way to go. I think we've only just reached the halfway mark. Still many more twists and turns, you would imagine, in this championship. But 2 excellent races tonight. Very unpredictable. We've had one of the greatest qualifying sessions of all time, and 2 excellent races to go with it.
Yeah, without doubt, one of the best qualifying sessions I've ever seen. Look at that. Chris Johnson, the victor then. Dom Smith second. 14.5 seconds back, but with no time penalties. The only man in the field, apart from Angel versus Death, that didn't have one in the end. Magic Poop Cannon coming home in third. A good recovery drive, it has to be said. Mr. John 4th, Blown Wheelna 5th, Blair Grill 6th, Jackal in 7th. Alex Zaffro came home in 8th with Parsa 9th and Mick Schumacher completing the top 10. Indecisive was next, Sir Tom Penguin 12th and Red Bull Kim was 13th, and we won't quite have time for the rest of the order. But Dan, your driver of the day from the Canadian Grand Prix?
I suppose it's going to be Chris Johnson, hasn't it? But big shout out to Dom as well for managing to not get a penalty. And obviously he got very fortunate, didn't he, with the virtual safety car, but still did not get a penalty. And he does, I know from previous races against him, he does tend to struggle with his tyres, but he managed to hold on and managed to get that 2nd place. Magic Poop Cannon as well, though, I suppose also you got to say fair play for even going even longer and managing to get on the podium as well. A lot of great drives in that race, you have to say, and it was it was certainly needed, wasn't it, for a lot of the drivers after that poor qualifying that they had.
Yep, you're absolutely right. And well, the other drivers out there had incredible qualifying. It's a quick word on Red Bull Kim qualifying 5th.
That was just incredible, wasn't it? I mean, I just say the moment when he went to 1st place was quite unbelievable. I sort of lost it briefly and just could not stop laughing, but it was just an amazing moment. Kyan as well getting right up there too. Fantastic stuff. It's a shame that he had a little bit of a collision at the very start, which really could tell things for them, but still, at least he got that moment of that qualifying where they made the right decision on the dry tyre and it paid off for them.
Yeah, incredible. And well, we'll go down in history. That'll be clipped. Dom's in the middle of making a little edit at the minute of 10 years of TGP. I think that Red Bull Kim on pole might just squeeze in there at the end.
I think
he'll be very happy. He'll be very, very happy. Oh well, I think that rounds it all off then, Dan. What a fantastic evening's entertainment. We've had some great races and a championship lead that's been extended by Chris Johnson. We've had a good night, but not as good as him. He now has a 26-point lead in the Drivers' Championship over his nearest rival, Magic Poop Cannon. He's doubled it. That's all from us. Be sure to join us again next week at the exact same time, Wednesday night at 7:10. That's all from myself and Dan. Good night.